Hi guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Kook Shed, my own little YouTube channel where I share tips and reviews related to surfing, bodyboarding, skating, anything I'm sort of interested in and might have information on to share with you guys to help make your life easier and hopefully have a little bit more fun. So today we're going to talk about Afterpay. Now here in Australia, it's one of the bigger credit purchasing apps available. It was one of the first that was available. You might have it where you are, or you might have similar apps, similar ways of paying where you are that work on the same principle. But today we're going to talk specifically about Afterpay. So I used Afterpay to buy a board, the Hypto Crypto softboard. Actually, this one here, and I'll do a review on that later on. But I've been seeing Afterpay, and when I was working in the surf shop, a lot of people were starting to catch on to using Afterpay to pay for their items. So I thought I'd do a little bit of digging around, see what it's all about, and give it a try. So basically it works on the principle where you purchase an item using Afterpay once you've signed up and become a member on Afterpay, with Afterpay, and then they will take they'll divide the total amount of the item by 4, and they take the first payment of those 4 payments. They take that out straight away when you purchase the item, and then every 2 weeks they take out the next payment. So it's quite easy to manage for a lot of people. One major benefit is that there's no interest. So it's not like a credit card. You don't accrue interest on your purchases, which is great for the purchaser. So it looks good, looks really good. You will get fined if you miss a payment, but then they cap those fees at 25%. I think it is 25% of the original purchase cost. Once you reach, hopefully you won't, but if your fees for being late reach 25% of the purchase price, that's where they stop. Now they will pause your account if you miss a payment, so that you can't buy more things until you catch up, which is good. It helps people if they're struggling to keep up with the payments. Pausing that Afterpay account helps you catch up without accruing more and more debt. Now, speaking of that, it is debt. You are getting yourself into debt. You are buying something with money you don't have yet. Now, I personally prefer not to do that at all, ever, if I can. But with the no interest and being available at more and more places, especially surf shops and things like that, where larger items are purchased, or larger, higher cost items are purchased, it's actually quite handy. For instance, if you were on a surf trip and snapped your board, it's a great way to quickly get you out of trouble. Once again, without that interest of a credit card on top. So it's really, really handy for that. Or if you're somewhere without your credit cards or whatever, or you're just somewhere and you don't have much cash on you or whatever, and you see an item that you must have for whatever reason, it's a great way to grab that item, walk out of the store and pay for it later. So there are definitely some benefits to purchasing something using Afterpay if you don't have the money handy for whatever reason. I would recommend to just limit what you're buying with Afterpay to just the one item, or the one big purchase. So if you bought a surfboard or something quite expensive, or just went out and got a whole bunch of winter clothes at the surf shop, I would pay that off before buying anything else, and that way things aren't going to get away on you. You can just focus on paying off that one purchase. That's the way I did it, and that's the way I'll always do it, because yeah, it can get away on you, and you don't want that, because if you miss payments, it will possibly affect your credit rating in future. If a credit, if they look at your credit rating and can see that you're not being able to keep up with payments, yeah, that could affect your ability to obtain credit later on. So, highly recommended. Do not miss a payment. And frankly, if you're in a situation where you might miss one of these 4 payments, well, then you probably shouldn't be buying something on credit anyway. You might just have to bite the bullet and save up, or I don't know. Yeah, so it is a great way to manage your money without that fear of extra interest going on top. The retailers take on a lot of the cost associated with Afterpay. It's sort of made for the purchaser, the buyer, like you and I, so it's really good in that respect. Now, there are other Afterpay like apps and websites and things like that, and cards and whatever, but I'm just specifically going to talk about this one, and you're best to look into the details, the finer details, fine print of any of the other ones that you may choose to use, like I think ZipPay and a couple of others out now that are following suit. One good thing about Afterpay is if you've shown that you can pay your amounts on time, and you pay your money back as you promised to when you bought the board or the wetsuit or whatever, you get sort of rewards. I think you can choose to raise your limit once you've bought a few things. You can raise the limit, and they'll let you do that because they can see that you can show that you can pay it off, which is great. They will also allow you to, but only if you've been good and paid on time, they can allow you to not have that first upfront payment. So that first upfront payment when you walk into the shop with your app on your phone, or I think they've got an Afterpay Card now too, you can choose to knock that first payment back by about a week, I think. So that might help manage your money if you need that option. Also, you can change if you're in a bit of a jam and you've been paying it off really good and really well, and something comes up and you can't pay that payment. You can choose to postpone that payment back a week as well if you get stuck. So that's another handy thing that might help you. But yeah, that will only happen once you prove that you're a good customer with Afterpay and can pay your debts. So it's also good for shopping online. If you prefer not to use a credit card to shop online for whatever reason, or you don't want to use your PayPal money, if you've got PayPal, you can choose with most surf shops and retailers these days to pay with Afterpay. So that's also really handy as well. That's what I did with this one. I bought this online. Normally I like to look at a board and everything before I purchase it, but in this one instance I couldn't get to the shop, and it was the last one left, so I just bought it online, and when it came to the payment method, I just chose Afterpay, and away we went. Now, it was my first ever purchase with Afterpay, and the price of this board was over my limit because I hadn't built up a rating with them or whatever. So all they did was they took a larger first payment and then divided the rest of the amount that was owing over the next 3 payments. So they will do that for you, but yeah, I still think try to stick to your budget. Try to stick to something you can pay back. Now, in regards to that, they give you plenty of notice. They tell you when they're going to take the money out of your account well in advance. So you've got more than enough time to make sure there's enough money in that account that they're drawing from. You transfer money over, whatever you need to do to keep that payment being made. They give you plenty of notice. I found that was really handy. I'd get an email just saying, your next payment's due in a week, and it gives you time to just, make sure that that money's in there. So that's really handy and will help you manage your money a little bit better. It is, because it's a credit system, it could be handy for younger people starting out that sort of might not have a credit card yet, or it just might help you build your credit rating. If you're going to go for a loan later on for a car or a house deposit or whatever, and you don't have a credit rating, so to speak, well, showing that you can pay off your Afterpay payments on time and never miss one, that can only be good. And Afterpay is an app, or it's a service that they do check. Credit rating people, assessors, they do check Afterpay, so that'd be a good way to sort of show future lenders that yes, you can pay off what you borrow. And the beauty of Afterpay is you see something that you need or want, I guess, in the store, and you can pull the app out on your phone and pay for it, or your card. I think that, like I said, I think there's an Afterpay card now as well. You can pay for it, walk out and pay for the first payment, and you've got the item with you. So like I said, if you're traveling, it's super valuable. Like you lose your wetsuit, or damage fins, or snap a board, like I said, bang, you just walk into the nearest surf shop if you can, and grab a new board, and you can worry about those payments when you get home, and without interest as well. So that's super handy, and I recommend, even if you're not going to use it for regular shopping and stuff, which I recommend not doing, it's just handy to have it there. That's why I got it. It's just there in case, like with this situation, I just wanted to grab it and get it done. It was sent off the next day, and then yeah, I just got little payments coming out later on. So nothing but positive for me, the experience with Afterpay. So I'm going to have to say, yeah, it's recommended. The only thing that I sort of didn't like, which it's just silly, it's not even a like down point really. It's just after, like, I think it was right at the end payment, I got a email saying, oh, your next payment's due, and it had been that long since I bought the board. You're like, oh God, am I still paying for that thing? So, but that's mostly on my behalf, that. But yeah, that was it, so be conscious of what you're spending your Afterpay money on, because yes, those payments will come and hit you later on, so you've got to be prepared for that. And so I think just stick within your budget, shop smartly, sensibly. It's like a credit card, you know. You don't want to be living in debt, always paying off stuff if you can help it. So yeah, Afterpay is probably best sort of app that I've seen so far, that allows you to buy something on credit with no interest and pay it off. And really, you know, when they break it down in those little payments or smaller payments, it's really easy to manage. You've got 2 weeks in between each one to sort yourself out, and you've got the thing that you want. So it's win-win, really. And if you're paying it all off as you should, it helps with your credit rating for future, possibly. So yeah, nothing but good things. So that's pretty much it as far as my experience with Afterpay. If you found this helpful, hit like, or if you want to ask a question, just drop a question in the comments. Remember to hit subscribe if you want to see more reviews or tips and things like that related to surfing, bodyboarding and skating. And if you have found a good app similar to Afterpay, or if you've had good or bad experiences with Afterpay, let me know, let others know, because people do read the comments, and you know, you might be able to help other people out as well. So I definitely encourage you to do that. Thanks for dropping in. I'll do my best to get a review happening on this the Hypto Soft board. Pretty funky stuff. And yeah, I guess for that, just stay tuned a little later on Kook Shed. But for now, that's it. Thanks for dropping in. Catch up.